Hi guys, and welcome to a brand new F1 show on Facebook. This is called the F1 Debate Show. My name is JT. On the other end of the line is my friend Formula. How you doing, my friend?
Hello JT, I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Welcome to the F1 Debate Show. We talk about why Formula 1 ratings have dropped in the UK.
And we discuss the possibility of non-championship races returning in Formula
1. Time flies when you're having fun. Yes, this episode, guys, marks the 1 year anniversary of the F1 Debate Show being on YouTube. Can you believe that? Yes, we started 11th of March 2016. We've been on here for a full year. And the first topic is we're going to be talking about in this episode, because there's enough of us going on. Let's get into it. And we're going to be first talking about the views. Not the views for the F1 Debate Show, because they're pretty bad, but the views for Formula 1 in the UK. Now, obviously, the UK, the United Kingdom, has a massive heritage with Formula 1 and motorsport in general. Now, there's a lot of debate on who has the origin of Formula 1, where it all started, and blah, 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 blah. But obviously, as we all know, there's a lot of teams that come out of the UK, and obviously, me and Jordan come out of the UK as well, so that's why it's very important. And basically, last year, as you all know, Nico Rosberg took the World Championship at the Mercedes team alongside Lewis Hamilton. He came in second. Nico won the World Championship. Now, Nico is German. Lewis is English, British. So, obviously, there's going to be a lot of support when he's winning, and you'd think there'd be support when he's losing. Well, I'd change that mind if I were you guys, because basically, the Formula 1 views in the UK basically dropped by 5.1 million views when Lewis Hamilton lost the World Championship last year. He failed to secure his fourth World Championship and a third consecutive World Championship, as Nico took it with an amazing 9 wins, and basically his statistics went out of the roof, really, and now he's out of Formula 1. He did it and then he left. So Lewis Hamilton failing to do this, and the views dropped. It's a 12-year loss. Can you believe that? So 12 years, obviously back to 2005. 2005, guys, so when Fernando Alonso was winning his first World Championship with Renault, that's when we had the same amount of views as we did at the end of last year. That came to 21.8 million. So 21.8 million views from the UK is very good, but as I say, a 12-year low. It picked up again, obviously, around 2008 when ITV became BBC Formula 1. They have been the big broadcasters. ITV was good, but there was commercial breaks, as me and John were just talking about. BBC were very good. They showed a lot of the races live on the BBC One and BBC Two. They were really, really great. Had some great commentators as well. Obviously, probably the dream team was around 2010 time, when you had Jake Humphrey, Eddie Jordan, and David Coulthard. Obviously, DC and Eddie Jordan, amazing legacies in Formula 1. Obviously, Eddie Jordan runs his own team. Obviously, Eddie Jordan. So that's why John is happy that I said that. Really great. I mean, they have some great presenters at the moment as well. But basically, when they went to Channel 4, which was for the start of last season, the 2016 season, people were a bit sceptical. They were like, oh, hang on a minute, after the reviews that they're getting, and they're only going to cover 10 races. People were thinking, well, this isn't really Formula 1 at the end of the day. This is like, you know, a bit here and there, hit and miss. And obviously, we have our main rival, which is Sky Sports F1 in the UK, which obviously they, you know, show all the races live. Basically, they are one of the pinnacle channels in the world showing Formula 1. Obviously, the biggest ones are Sky Germany, Sky Italy, and Sky UK, along with other channels such as Fox Australia, ESPN Sport, and RIA, which are a German and Austrian channel, with obviously one of the biggest pundits, Niki Lauda, on that as well. But now that we're talking about views, is Liberty Media. Now, as you know, they have bought Formula 1, and they're a media company, so basically they want to try and revamp Formula 1, especially in the countries that are struggling with the views. Now, dropping that amount for the UK in 2016 was not very good. That is why we're having so struggles. So the biggest one, as we know, is Silverstone Circuit. They're struggling because of the lack of Formula 1 kind of buzz that the UK has. They're looking at these stats and going, you know, that's pretty low. What are we going to have to do? They need to get it back up, because we'd seen 137 million views since 2010. This was also a cross between Freeview TV and paid TV as well. So we're definitely going to have to do a lot about that, for especially people out there who maybe can't afford Sky, or just don't have Sky for where they live, and just watch on Freeview, obviously ITV, BBC, and then Channel 4 when they had it as well. So a few alarming statistics for you guys. So by 2019, Sky Sports F1 in the UK are going to be the only provider of Formula One in the United Kingdom, obviously. So basically, if as I've just said, if you don't have Sky, you will have to watch it on till 2019 on those channels. And as far as we know, as far as we have kind of read into, that's going to be the same for the rest of the world. These paid TVs will be kind of made, usage in Formula One, especially also being owned by Liberty Media. Obviously, Formula One, broadcasting society, they've come into Formula One, they want to bring broadcasting into it. They'll be offering paid. It'll be pretty good, man. It'll be on the same standard as Sky Sports F1 and stuff like that in the UK and stuff like that. But basically, that will be brought in. Channel 4 by 2019 aren't actually planned to stay on the air to show Formula One, especially not with 10 races to show to their name, which, I mean, you can even just stop right there. 10 races is pretty low. I mean, obviously they're missing some big ones. Yes, they show some of the big ones. Yes, they show Monaco. Yes, they show Britain. They show Brazil. They show Abu Dhabi. They try to show the big ones, but it's like the big ones, count. It's a bit like showing, it's a bit like showing things like the last Premier League game of the season for big teams, showing the FA Cup final, showing the Champions League final. But then you think, well, hang on a minute, especially for us die-hard fans out there, we want to see like what you might call the slow races, things like Baku and Malaysia. I'm just trying to think of like these kind of tracks that people might think, it's going to be, it's going to be a slower race. Yeah, it's going to be a slower race this year, this time, compared to obviously big 30s like Japan with amazing legacies, Monaco, Silverstone, as I said, the early race, the first race of the season, Australia, and obviously at the end, Abu Dhabi. They're very important, but obviously Channel 4 only have a license to show 10 races. The biggest thing also, as I've just said, is Liberty Media opening. So basically, they're revising the appeal in F1 to be brought in with $8 billion for this year, reportedly by Chase Carey. So he wants to bring it into the UK to basically boost the ratings for that. It's also been backed by Bernie Ecclestone and Ross Brawn, obviously two patrons from the UK as well, who are still active in Formula One. Well, more so Ross Brawn as well. And basically, those two are going to be like more ambassadors this year to be bringing more appeal into the UK for Formula One fans, for the watching, for the viewing rights as well. Because especially if that's going to be true, that we're all going to go to paid channel in 2019, for a lot of people out there, there will be there'll be concerns, because obviously, again, as we said before, who is going to just go to Sky to watch Formula One? Now, there will be people out there who will do it. Obviously, if you like Formula One, which you probably will do watching this channel, unless you just like us too, which I mean, who would? Of course. But obviously, a lot of people won't want that, and it's going to be very hard to work out. Is it going to be worth it? Is it not? But at the end of the day, if this happens, which by the way, as I've just said, 2019 to 2020, we could be looking at this happening. So very, very soon, that might be our only option. So basically, the next thing is to get the opinion of Jordan, my co-host, and see what he thinks. Now, obviously, watching these races, watching all 21 races or 20 races, or how many they have on the calendar, 2 races even, in the calendar, how many they've got, we will watch whatever time in the day. Obviously, we have early morning races, we have late night races, we have all these races in between when we're missing big things, missing sunny days out and football games and what have you. It's important. And then, to think that we could be, we went to 10 races this year, Channel 4, and we could be going less, losing habits and basically everything just, falling flat on its face. So, I mean, Jordan, this is, obviously UK, losing, the views dropping in the UK isn't what we need to see, because as I've said at the start of the episode, is we are one of the biggest countries in terms of legacy. We have a lot of the teams coming out of the country. Obviously, like the south of England, we have loads of bases like Oxfordshire, Northamptonshire, around Silverstone as well. Obviously we've had loads of drivers come from here, loads of teams, loads of important people like Ross Brawn, Adrian Newey, Christian Horner, Paddy Loeb, stuff like that. As I say, obviously a lot of the teams have heritages here as well, Williams, McLaren, and stuff like that. And we are such a big country with legacy in Formula One as well, and it's almost heartbreaking to see this. For what we're seeing now, obviously the figures dropping, but then also the repercussions it could have in the future. And that's why also that's the Silverstone appeal, obviously where it might get dropped from the calendar, it's definitely going to help in that cause, because they're looking at the fact and saying, well, if people aren't going to be watching it on telly, are they going to really come to our track, and we're not going to open the doors to people who don't want to watch Formula 1. So I mean, John, what do you think about this kind of heartbreaking news for Formula 1?
It is really, really annoying, obviously, when you discuss it like that, you know what I mean, about that they could literally get rid of free TV. That's pretty much the topic right now, is not everyone can actually afford to pay, Sky, ESPN or whatever to watch, just a certain sport that you want to watch. Like, you might just like Formula 1, you might not like any other sport. You're not going to pay something like, $20, $30, pounds or whatever a month just to watch one race, you know what I mean? Because you might watch one race and then you might be at work for the next 2 races, so you've just spent 30 quid on watching one race, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? There isn't really good value for money. And also as well, you've got to look at the new fans who want to come into Formula 1, because at the end of the day, obviously life, as you know, is just one big, what is it, like one big train, you know what I mean? Like, obviously you stop at a destination, you get off, so new people get on, and you go again, and you go back round again, you know what I mean? That is life. And eventually we are going to lose those die-hard fans because of death, for it to say it. And then you're going to have the new, the younger ones coming through who obviously do want to watch Formula 1. But if you're not going to provide free TV, like free F1 viewing, and then say, like, obviously their parents can't afford Sky, you're not going to know what Formula 1 is. Yes, you have social media and everything, but you're not going to you're just going to scroll through Facebook or Twitter, just go, oh, there's Formula 1. You're not going to click on the link to see what the times are for qualifying, for the race, because you don't know what it is. It's like, other sports like golf or boxing, whatever, like, if you have no interest in that, you're going to be like, oh, Formula 1, now I'll scroll past it. Then you're going to lose fans, which then you're going to lose attendance at races, which then you're going to lose money for attending the races, like Silverstone, Belgium or whatever. Then you're going to lose money on merchandise, then teams are going to struggle financially, and then it's just going to have one big knock-on effect. And then, you know what I mean? And also as well, they'll also be going to events like Formula E, which is, you can still watch for free on Channel 5 in the UK. I don't know if you can watch it anywhere else in the world, but over here in the UK, you can watch it on Channel 5. And you can watch all the races live, I think. I think you watch them all live. You can probably 1 or 2. And also about them live races as well. If, Channel 4 hosting 10 live races, I mean, that's not good, in my opinion. I think 10 races, it should be the minimum as to what you can do, you know what I mean? I watched, like last season, I watched on Channel 4, you know what I mean? And I would watch the highlights afterwards. But then during the highlights, you'd have ad breaks. And you don't want to have ad breaks. Fair enough, you're not missing anything. But still, you're in that element. Oh, go on, you're overtaking. You're in that, big hyped up zone. And then ad break. Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay, all right. Go and stick the kettle on, and then you come back up, and then you miss like 10 laps. And you're like, oh, what's the point in watching it? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Obviously, when you're watching TV, you've got to be really fixed into something, and when something distracts you, you lose that focus, and you're like, oh, I've lost track of what's going on. I don't want to watch it anymore. If you're watching a crime documentary, a crime series, and you miss one episode, then you go back to watch that episode, like the episode after you've missed. You're like, I've missed the last episode. I don't know what that's like. I don't understand this episode. What's the point in watching the rest of the series? That's how it's going to work. And then, as I said before,
you mean, Jordan? Because basically, I remember watching a few races ago. I can't remember. I think it was Singapore, something like that. No, it wasn't Singapore because I was doing a live stream. I can't remember. Anyway, but I was watching qualifying. Basically, yeah, you're right. The adverts came on after Q2, and then I think I was like, oh, okay, well, I've got 3 minutes to kill. I think I went on my planner and I got something to watch just for a few minutes. And then I got a bit, hooked on that, obviously, as you do, because it's watching telly. And then it came back on. But then I think on the flip side of it, obviously, I've watched Sky Sports F1 before, and then their transition between Q2 and Q3, for example, obviously, they go on the drivers, they get interviews and stuff like that. They make a productive time of it, as John's just been saying. They actually stay on the topic. They don't get distracted. And also that means you don't get distracted as well, so that means you stay with it and you find out what's happening. Because on the Channel 4 side of it, when they had the adverts, I clicked on it, and I think it was something like 4 minutes to go into Q3, and obviously you saw the times, but you were like, well, hang on a minute, people have set times, and I was like, well, I've missed them.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously,
and also as well, obviously these days you can watch catch-up TV and everything online, or like on demand, like what we have over here in the UK. And obviously, there's been times where I've been at work or I've been away. It's like, oh, obviously, say like an early race, like for China, like for us over here, like China, Malaysia, you know what I mean, like early races like that. I will come back home. I'll go, okay, I'll just catch it up online. Fair enough. The ad breaks on the online just take forever. Seriously, you can't skip them. You got like 4 or 5, and you're like, twiddling your thumbs. You just get bored. Then you might say your game's called Control and go. I play some Formula 1 instead. You only missed the race, you know what I mean? And it's like, then you go to watch the next race, oh, Vettel won the race, you know, yeah. And McLaren Honda won the race, that's how badly you need to catch these races. Oh, God. So, yeah, it's like I said before, it's not really about, like, it's got to benefit us fans as well. But then you've got to look at the new generation, that's the key thing, because, you know what I mean? Like, if you were to stop Formula 1 right now, and just, right, there's everyone coming through the floodgates and they're like in Formula 1, then they'll shut the barrier, and then, right, no one else can come through, and then everyone's just going to die, and obviously, you know, of life, and then there'll be nothing in Formula 1. What's the point? You know what I mean? You've got to keep people interested, and if they can actually provide a way, even if it's like online viewing, then again that's also a negative, because people might not be able to afford online. So, again, that's going to be a knock-on effect. You've got to find a way to sort of, right, you know, we need free viewing Formula 1, like, more or less the big races, not only to favour the guys coming like interested in Formula 1, but guys like me and Lyle who love Formula 1. We want to see it. We don't want to see 10. We don't want to see just Monaco, just Belgium. We want to see, you know, Australia, China, Russia, but, you know, all them races. We want to see every single one. We want to know the crack. And also, well, in practice and qualify, practice. Let's go to practice for a bit. Right, fair enough. You're not going to sit there and watch minute after minute and minute after minute of practice, because fair enough, you do get a bit like, oh, it's not really happening, I'm just going to go away for 5-10 minutes, you know what I mean? Because, you know, but if you're watching it on Channel 4 as well, again, they have ad breaks in between, and like, okay, fair enough, practice is, you know, okay, that's fine. In qualifying, it's annoying. It's really, really annoying. They don't do it during the session, but then it's like, you've got to keep the audience hooked, but like what we're trying to do, in a way. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have an ad.
Which we've probably lost it by now.
There's probably like, 2 people viewing now? We had like 60 before. And so, yeah, and if you're like, obviously, like what Sky F1 do, they'll be like, you know, right, qualifying 2's finished, let's go back to Johnny and everybody, just like talking about the session. And then, like, you go to an ad break on Channel 4, you've lost that interest. It's all about keeping the interest.
Exactly.
If free TV aren't going to do that, then, in my eyes, Formula 1, it's a dying sport now, but we are going to be close to death if we don't provide free TV. So, Lyle, we discussed this topic a good, I don't know, probably last season. We definitely discussed something about it last season. I remember you said something about a live stream that was an option. So obviously, I did say before that people might not be able to afford not only Sky, but not be able to afford like on like internet. So do you think Formula 1 should potentially look at an online stream where you can go on to watch a live race? Maybe not so much qualifying, just the race itself. Do you think that will keep fans hooked, or do you think they've got to have practice, qualifying, and the race to keep the audience hooked? What do you think?
Well, yeah, so you're right there, John. And actually, it's on episode 32. So if you want to go and check that out, there'll be links in the description. Obviously, of course, I remember that. But yes, obviously, so Formula 1, we're talking about more so of like, because they have a Formula 1, but they have a website. Obviously, as you all know, most of you will use it. But they'll be having a website. Formula 1 are thinking about launching a website, which basically gives you more access to things like that. You'll be able to watch, you know, as I say, videos and things like that, more news and statistics, things like that. Obviously, they have revamped it on iOS devices like iPhone. They have, you know, kind of changed it as well. You can download another Formula 1 app instead of just the Formula 1 website and things like that. But yeah, you're right, John. The news was at that time that they were thinking of bringing one in, and I think that was obviously because of Liberty Media, because obviously they were coming in, and the rate they are in now, you know, and that's why they are a media company. So obviously they want to change it a lot, and think that they have plans to do that. We also know that obviously Chase Carey, big fan of the UK and things like that, our English culture, like high tea.
He's living in London.
High tea and you know, stuff like that. Cambridge, the boat races and stuff like that. So anyway, and obviously Ross Brawn as well. Those kind of people are very much behind it, because obviously that's what, you know, it's the UK, as we said many times. They have a massive legacy. We have a massive legacy in Formula 1. So it's really amazing. And this was where the first race was, obviously back in 1950 with Nino Farina, you know, as you all know, the muddy race or whatever, if you want to call it. But yeah, the first race in September 1950 was the first race here. But yeah, obviously, so it's important to keep it up. But the bigger thing though, John, and this is the last thing we're going to mention on this topic, is Silverstone, right? So obviously I mentioned that at the start of the episode, and as you remember, that was the topic of our first video back basically, obviously, as you all know, they're in a bit of like, you know, is it going to happen? Is it not? In the future, they have a deal. I think it is until about 2019, something like that. But then, what's the future going to be like after this? Silverstone is the home of motorsport. That's what they all call it, the mecca of motorsport, if you like. That's where everything is important. You know, actually, we need Silverstone. And then, as kind of like a secondary thing, we need a British Grand Prix, whether that's Brands Hatch, Donington, or anywhere else, you know, that they might be thinking of doing. They might have a street race in London. They have one for Formula E. Why can't they have one for Formula 1? Anyway, but as I said, obviously at the start of the video, Silverstone, they're under hot water. They're under some, you know, struggles. And that's definitely not being helped with the lack of views from the UK. So, Jordan, I mean, obviously, we're not going to go into too much detail about Silverstone because we already have. But basically, as I've said, it's not helping it, is it? We need Silverstone to stay. Ergo, we need Formula 1 viewers to kind of, you know, boost the ratings, obviously.
Exactly. Well, we need a British Grand Prix. Definitely need British Grand Prix, whether it's at Silverstone, Brands Hatch, Donington, or wherever. You know what I mean? It's a necessary to keep it, because if we say the British Grand Prix leaves and goes, like I don't mean just Silverstone. I mean the British Grand Prix itself just scrapped, like the German Grand Prix just scrapped. That would be catastrophic. That was a big word. Catastrophic for Formula 1 in the UK, and then fans, probably not only new fans, but us as fans will probably just go, why bother? Look, we can't afford to watch TV on.
I'm still laughing at your.
Catastrophic. I was so funny about that. What? Catastrophic. That's the word of the day, guys. Catastrophic. You know?
Oh my! Oh wow! Guys, come on! You've got to pick. This moment is special. It's special. Anyway,
them two viewers that we had, they've gone.
Anyway, sorry, John. What were you saying before you said that massive word?
Yes, I said it'll be catastrophic, right? If British Grand Prix goes, because us as fans, like big diehard fans, would be like, look, it's like you said, we can't afford Sky F1, we can't afford internet, you know what I mean? And it's like, right now they're going to the British Grand Prix. Why? What's the point? What's the point in following this sport that doesn't look after the fans? You've got to look after the fans. That is very, very important.
Yes,
you've got to. That's it.
It would be catastrophic.
It would be catastrophic. Right?
Hey,
catastrophic.
How are you, man? No, yeah, you're right. They have to, and obviously it's going to help. It's not going to help Silverstone if they don't. But obviously, that's the thing. It's like Silverstone. I think that's a bigger thing. You know, we have to keep thinking about. And obviously, you know, the German Grand Prix that's been under problems, and obviously that's fine. That's gone. But they're doing well in Germany. Obviously, as they have the RIA and Sky Deutschland as well.
I mean, the fans back in 2016 was terrible.
Yeah,
that proves how much F1 has been lost in Germany because of when they got rid of it in 2015. I think that was the cause. Yes. And again, for high ticket prices as well, which is again key. Keep the fans happy.
Yes, Cabby, very happy. You have to.
Ross Brawn has announced this week that he's very interested in bringing back non-championship races. Now, if you're wondering what a non-championship race is, it's basically like a one-off event during the F1 season where teams have an opportunity to actually win a trophy. It's a bit like having a domestic cup during like a football or whatever season, you know what I mean? It's like you'll have like your leagues in football or tennis or whatever, cricket, and then once every so often you'll have, okay, you're gonna play a game for this tournament to have a chance to win some money, just another trophy basically. And they used to have this in the 50s and 60s, obviously when Formula 1 started, when it started out. And then it sort of stopped around the late 60s. But then it happened every so often between the 70s and 80s. And the last non-championship race to take place was in 1983 when Katie Rosberg won it. And that was actually the Race of Champions. Not the Race of Champions as we know it today, but obviously back then it was under a different event. So Ross Brawn has expressed his concerns about bringing it back, obviously seeing the positives and the negatives. And this is very much a topic that will probably divide Formula 1 fans. It will be like, okay, this is a really good idea, but then people will go, well, no, that's not really a good idea, especially for teams as well. This is going to be probably a big topic should Ross Brawn progress with this further. It's only rumours, right? He's interested, but he hasn't really confirmed as to what's going to happen just yet. So obviously we're just going to give our feelings on it and everything. So obviously, as I just said, it's just a one-off event during the F1 season to have the chance not to score some points, but to earn some money, and depending on where you finish. And again, just basically another trophy. So this is obviously going to be good for the smaller teams such as Haas, Renault, Sauber to actually earn some more money, because obviously Formula 1 with money, it's been a massive dispute recent years. Obviously we're seeing HRT, Caterham, Manor, Marussia obviously dissolve because not having enough funds, because obviously the money hasn't really been fair. Under some new ownership, so we might see a bit of a difference then, but up until then we can just obviously just stay as to what we've seen in the past. So, and again, that is going to be very, very helpful, as like I said, for teams like Sauber. And Sterling Moss did say once that back in the 50s when he was racing, they had a trophy called the BDRC, British Drivers Racing Club Cup, which obviously, as like I said, one-off event during the season. And he said once that that event was bigger for the drivers than the British Grand Prix. And as we all know, British Grand Prix is a massive, massive event, not only here in the UK but worldwide in Formula 1. You know what I mean? It's where it's all started, of course. And he said that was bigger because the prize money was more. You could earn more money from winning this trophy rather than the British Grand Prix. And again, that obviously I would prefer it if if the British Grand Prix you got some more money, or if you got some more money finishing in the standings than you did with this trophy. But then again, it could also be a positive if you could earn some more money, as like I said, for them smaller teams as well, because obviously they're not going to win it. It's just basically going to be like, it's like a practice session essentially, like testing, because again, testing is very, very limited, very restricted now, and also it'll give the young drivers a good chance to show them skills, show off what they can achieve, and then for the teams to go, okay, we'll consider him, we might not consider him, and see what they actually do against the big drivers. So Lyle, I'm just going to ask you straight away, do you think that is a good idea from what I've basically explained about the non-championship races? Do you think that's what Formula 1 needs to sort of bring back, a bit like what we discussed in the first talk about the fans? Do you think that is a very good idea from Ross Brawn?
Yeah, I do. I think it's fantastic, John. I think it's really, really great. It'll obviously, as you said, give the teams who need the money. I mean, technically they all need the money, but obviously, the smaller teams, Haas, Renault, Toro Rossos, things like that, need the money. It'd be great to see them fight for it. The thing is also, it'll be a bit of fun as well. And I know that's a bit strange to say, obviously, the 20 drivers in Formula 1, they're there to win, but it'll be a bit of fun. Basically, I just want to, obviously, as we all know, the Race of Champions. Now, I'll tell you what it reminds me of, or obviously vice versa when it's on, is the Pro Bowl in NFL. Now, obviously, if you don't know what the Pro Bowl is, basically what it is it's the penultimate round before the Super Bowl, and it breaks up the teams that are all down each other's necks. And basically what it is it's two teams, the NFC and the AFC, and it's made up of players from different teams all around the United States, and they come together and play. And basically, I've always thought when I watch that, it's quite enjoyable to watch, because it's almost a bit like a joke. It's obviously they want to win, obviously, but it's kind of fun as well, because you see all these players that are playing together. You know what I mean? And that's really amazing for that. Obviously, as you know, the players have a bit of fun and blah blah blah. It's really, really great for them, and it's also a bit like going to see a big event. Can you not afford the Super Bowl? Well, there's the Pro Bowl for you. Anyway, it's a bit of a fun event to go to, and I know that's kind of getting off topic from Formula 1, but that's what the Race of Champions has always reminded me of. And obviously again the Pro when the Race Champions on and stuff like that, and this is just kind of a bit of fun as well. As Jordan said, it's non-championship, it doesn't give you championship points, but it gives you money, which is what they want. It's fighting for a trophy that might not be there again, if that makes sense. And also as well, it's a bit like a domestic cup. I mean, we don't know at the end of the day that the Mercedes will be beaten by the Sauber, but for example, I'll just give you an example. Obviously, as we know, in the FA Cup, especially the lower down classifications, like the stages and that, a lot of teams will put out B teams, younger teams, as Jordan said, younger drivers to race. So yeah, we might see that, and it sounds really, really great. It sounds like what Formula 1 needs. It sounds fun. It sounds like it's almost like everyone can have a go, a bit like a primary school sports day. It's like everyone can have a go, everyone can join in. Formula 1's open to everyone, isn't it? All these young drivers, and it would be great. Just how I said it there sounds a bit like a GP2 series in a Formula 1 car, doesn't it? If you get what I mean, because obviously, as you know, a lot of young drivers in Formula 1
GP2
teams.
is different to Formula 1 though, so again, it's like it
Yeah.
also gives the drivers a chance to see what they can do against the big drivers.
Yes, exactly.
And in the Formula 1 car,
and in the cars, gives them more experience. But obviously, as we know, a lot of young drivers are GP2 drivers, like Pierre Gasly and Charles Russell and things like that. And obviously, a lot of drivers come through from GP2 into Formula 1. So it's you know, it's enjoyable for that. It'll be a very fun event to see. But on the flip side, it'll be fun, but it'll be, as Jordan said, it'll be, you know, hard, and it'll be competitive because it's for that money. And for the fans, so let's just take it into topic 1 for a minute. For the fans, it will be great because they will watch it. As I said about like the Pro Bowl, you know, about 10 years ago or whatever, you know, this wouldn't have even been thought of. But now, obviously, it's really great. And obviously, like last season's Pro Bowl as well was really, really great. Obviously, a lot of great players in there, like Odin Beckham Jr. Sorry, did I say Bellham? I think Beckham Jr. kind of brought the game alive. You know, playing against, you know, his, like, I don't know, it just was out of context really, a bit like what the Race of Champions is, and yeah, it would be fantastic to see that happen. Just fighting against.
Sorry to it.
No bother at all.
I've always thought when teams are doing obviously the laps in pre-season like they are now, I've always thought, why don't they do a one-off race? Because in football, obviously we always refer to football because obviously I'm a big football fan. Lyle likes football as well. In pre-season, you basically play a friendly match, basically to 90 minutes, like a normal game, and you field a different team every single time, just to obviously get the fitness up or anything, you know, just to analyse as to what position is best for that player. You know, are we going to do well against this team or that team, or what type of surrounding as well are we going to play well up, like, you know, up against? And I've always thought to myself, why don't they do that in Formula 1? Yes, fair enough, it's good doing laps and gathering data, but it's all about, you know, again, race strategy as well. You've got to understand, obviously, about, you know, what's best for our car, because obviously they are testing in Spain, which is a very good location for straight line speed, for cornering speed as well. So it gathers a lot of data as well. So it'll also be like sort of similar to the other tracks as well, because obviously, yes, if you have a race in, say, like a pre-season race in Spain, it's going to be like, well, that's exactly the same as what the Spanish Grand Prix is going to be like. Well, sort of, but obviously the team probably won't run full, like, you know, engine maps or full fuel or whatever. They might try just to try something different. So, like, in a race, they might go, we might not go too low on the fuel, or we might not have this set up, it's too aggressive. They might go in this race. They might go, right, let's try this and let's see if it'll work with our car. And if it doesn't matter.
And again,
you know
like Jordan, as he said, they could, instead of doing it in Spain, they could do it in a fun location. They could do it in somewhere like India, for example. Just in India, obviously, because as we all know, India's not on the Formula 1 calendar. It was for 3 years, but it's not. It's 3 years, 2 or 3 years? Yeah, 3 years. All wins of Sebastian Vettel. You know what I mean? Because obviously, they could just use that. They could use like X tracks, obviously, like India, South Korea. They could use old tracks like Brands Hatch and Donington, maybe probably Brands Hatch now. You know what I mean? Like, kind of bring it alive. Just fun. I think is kind of, as obviously, as Jordan mentioned it before, I think that's the thing that gets me. It's like it's almost like a fun thing for Formula 1 to do. Get these young drivers in. Exactly, and that's what we want to see. You know, we like to see these funny things. For example, like you know, obviously when Lincoln City won the other day and became the first non-league in the FA Cup, they became the first non-league team. You know, that was almost like a wow, and we've seen obviously many wows like Leicester winning the league and stuff. You know, but like wows and fun in sport, and that's what we love, isn't it? So obviously this would be, you know, this would be fun, and I totally agree with Jordan there. You know, like friendlies and things like that, just like a one-off kind of like stupid but serious
and
event.
Races would actually provide that as well. It would provide the thing. I've been thinking about that for literally like the last 5-6 years about why don't they do that. These one-off events that would actually happen, and also as well that the teams will be able to test different parts on the car, like testing. So it's like in-season testing, but you're racing.
Oh yes, exactly. Because then there could be so for example, like they could have the 2 tests, the 8 days that they're having at the moment, and then they could have a race at the end of those to kind of like an early indication of Australia.
McLaren Honda won't be there because
that would be great. That.
More on that later.
Well, where are they going to get to then? If they can't manage the start line in Spain, where are they going to get to?
2 laps in.
Exactly. It's fallen on its head for McLaren. But just on the topic of that, so obviously testing, if you might be wondering, we're not discussing that in this episode, basically because in the last few days, me and Jordan have been very busy. We have like a special thing coming for you in the next few days. So obviously make sure that you stay on the channel for that. We can't give you an actual date when that's going to come out, but yeah, just stick with the channel for the next few days to see what is happening. We will also be bringing you obviously information about testing through the week as well. Obviously we'll be sharing like days when it came out last week, bringing you more information next week, and it will be kind of slightly included in the next episode. But obviously the next episode is the nitty gritty. Let's get to Australia.
I can smell the sea.
Wow. I can smell the barbies. I can smell the shrimp on the barbie. It's just it's Australia. Australia's written in the sky. I mean, but the thing is though, now, yeah, obviously now it's you know, Australia is like the next thing, John. You know, testing is out the way with it, it's done and dusted, and Australia is the big cheese really.
Yes.
It is amazing, absolutely amazing. Anyway, so I mean wow. But yeah, it'd be so amazing, and obviously make sure that you catch Australia and all the other races with the F1 Debate Show, who turns a year old, as we mentioned at the start of the video. Yeah, 365 days on YouTube. I hope you've enjoyed it. Obviously, the ups and downs and the success of F1 British Week. So yeah, anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. As always, like and subscribe and do all them things that we love, and till next time,
See you later.